Yeah, I was just mentioning before that today I was just looking forward to what you're going to talk to us about, which is basically scraping and
Yep.
what you've learned and the experience that you have and what's worked for you, because you're obviously a solopreneur who's found success and found clients and you're working through it and figuring it out. So yeah, we just want to learn from you and see what your perspective is.
Yeah, sure. I prepared something for you today just to explain how to create like a very simple scraper in Chrome extension. So I want to explain, for example, what type of files I use to create the code and what I do to create the scraping process. So yeah, I want to explain that. So maybe like a big picture of what is happening behind the scenes. But yeah, let me share my screen so you can see my screen and I can explain to you. Okay, so I think you can see my screen right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I have this extension which is very simple, and I want to share with you what is happening. So this is just like a very simple scraper, like for this website, and this is Mercado Libre, which is a very famous like e-commerce in Latin America. So this is like the Amazon. So there is like a war between Amazon and Mercado Libre in Mexico. So people they like I like both. Both tools are okay. So I will put, for example, here like a keyword, right? Maybe it's sauce in English. So just to search. And I click here just this button, start the process. So when I click the button, it start getting the data. Right? And you can see that if you click inspect, you see how I am getting data information from those products. I am getting just basic data, the price, the title. In theory, you can get like whatever the data you want. If that data is visible in the source code, you can get that data without any issue. So yeah, I am getting the data and now it has to create like a Excel file with all the data. So here I think I have 60 links, maybe more. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I created this Excel file.
Renee, are you manually stopping that? Or how does it know to stop? Triggered by you, or is it getting everything and then stopping?
Actually, this demo scraper is just for one single page. So what I am doing is I am just getting all the links in this page or all the products. Like I am getting the data only from this page. However, in real life, you need to create iteration that goes from page one to page whatever you want, 50 or so. In real life, you have to iterate through each page. But here in this example, I am just getting data from one single page, just the first one, right? Just to make it more simple, more understandable. So it's just one single page. Just put something like Nintendo. I have this button, which is top, and I think it doesn't work right now. I don't know. But this button, it can interrupt process and you can generate the Excel file, right? So that button is more for when you want to interrupt the process. Let's say in page 4, you say I only want 4 pages. You just click stop, and you have to finish that page, and then you get the Excel file. And I want to explain you how to create this small code, right? So basically, I use Visual Studio Code, right, just to see all the code, all the folders. So I have this folder called, well, Workspace, where I store all my Chrome add-ons, right? And here I have this add-on. So I call this Mercado Libre add-on, right? Let me just print that here. So as you can see, these are the files, right? So here what I have is I create a logo. So really I just created this logo in Logo Maker, right? So you have to go to logomaker.com and you can create a logo like this, right? So it's very simple, right? You need to put like a PNG, right? And then the next important file is the manifest. This manifest file where kind of put like all the extension information, right? For example, the name, the version, the manifest version, right? And here, for example, I use the name, I put Mercado Libre, but you can put whatever you want here. Basically, the version, the description, the here I put 3. This is important because this is the most recent version, right? Also, this service worker, it's important if you want to use the background mode, but I am not using background. I am just only using, let's say, like direct mode, which is more simple. I put the icons, right? Then I put this pop-up dot HTML is basically the pop-up that you see here, right? It's this pop-up right here. I have this content script, which is very important because here I have some libraries. Here's where you can put libraries, right? For example, here I say, I only want this script to work on this page, Mercado Libre, which is the web page that I want this to work, right? So I put here many pages, right? But all the pages are related to mercadolibre.com, right? And here also like some permissions that I need, right? Actually, I am not using storage for this, but yeah, I really, the idea is that here you can configure all the logic, like the big picture, right? The description, the version, the title, the libraries that you will use in your project. Here's everything. So this is like the first part, right? So step one is create a logo. Step two is just create your manifest file, right? And then the next step is you have to create the pop-up, right? So in my case, really this is my pop-up HTML, which is basically this thing that you can see here. So for example, if I just put here demo, right, I can put version 1.01, and here I can put this in English, right? Just that's fine. I can put here no input, maybe input keyword, and here I can put, I don't know, maybe wait a minute.
So this is how you're designing the pop-up box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the, and it's very simple. Actually, like you really can do this with ChatGPT, right? For example, I am adding some libraries because at the end of the flow, I am generating Excel file, right? So that's why I'm having this file saver. No, those are the libraries that I use to create the Excel file. I put some style here, just very simple style. Actually, I am not using this one. I just put here the style that I consider important. And here I am just saying that I want to show only this is the input data section, right? So if I save this, I will click save and then I go back to here. I need to refresh the web application. So yeah, I just need to refresh. So when I refresh, you can see the changes, right? In the input. This is the very simple input that I have. You can make more complex ones. For example, here I have another application. This is another application that I created for another website. And here you can see that I have categories, state, cities. Right? This is more complex, but the idea behind is the same, right? You have to create your pop-up so you can play with you can design this depending on which input data you want. Maybe your client or your idea have like some date ranges, or you have like combo boxes, or you have whatever you want, right? How many pages do you want to scrape, or how many data do you want to collect? Yeah, then you need to configure, right, your input accordingly, right? So that's the idea. And so one important part of this input is if I go to the code, right? So I put here this pop-up dot JS. So this pop-up JavaScript is where I have all the logic, all the JavaScript logic, right? When I click start scraping. So when I put here, for example, I don't know, laptop, and I click start scraping, that is when I go to that JavaScript file and I execute the logic to just refresh. So for example, and that pop-up, it is here, right? So it's here, and here I have all the logic, right? So first, like really, this part is just to generate the Excel file. So here I just defining some variables just to really, I copy this from a GitHub repo, just, and this is just like a flag that I have is just when you click stop process, this flag activates and stop the process. It's just like that. Like really the important method is this one. This is the important method, that is the scrape method. This is when we start the automation. So actually, for example, this part of start automation appears here. So if I go back to the application and I execute, I mean, I click here and I click inspect, you can see here it says start automation, right? So that happens when I click scrape. So that part is here, right? That right here, right? And then what I'm doing is just I show the loading button, right? That is just telling you that it's loading. And this is a very important function, really, like some sub function, because here, basically, like when you want to scrape data using a Chrome extension, you need to communicate between the pop and the content. So the get pop, this small window that you see here, and the content of all the data, all the important data is here, is in this page, right? So you need to communicate, create like a channel of communication between the pop-up and the content. The content, let's say, script or the main file. So in this case, I am using this function, this send message to content script. So this send message, basically, it is communicating those two things. So here I put like page and number, but in theory, this is wrong. Like the correct word here is, to be honest, it has to be like step. What the step are we doing? You know, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, right? For example, step 1 is putting here the keyword. That is a step 1, right? Step 2, you put the keyword here, right? Step 2 is clicking this button of searching, right? That's step 2. And then step 3 is collecting all the links from this page. So you have to divide your logic in several small steps, right? So in every automation, you have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So you have to divide that. So here I will put just step, and here I will put maybe like input. I will modify this thing here just to make more sense. So basically, this message has two parameters. It has in what step I am right now, step 1, step 2, and the input that I am giving to the content JavaScript. So here, this is like step 1. Let me just put here step 1. Right, just always put like a name here. Right, step 1, and here I am giving this search right here, which is the keyword. This search is the keyword that you give at the beginning. So it can be like Nintendo, it can be like PC, laptop, whatever you want. That's
The click event for the scraping or something else?
no, this is just the keyword, like
Okay.
the word that you put. It can be whatever you want. It's
Oh, okay. So this is
yeah,
so that's where you search for the value.
exactly. That's the value that I put here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
so
then
when
you
the scrape button is clicked, it triggers it.
exactly.
Okay.
It triggers this first step. Step 1, I'm going to do something in the content script using these two parameters. Step 1 and search. So here I will put step 1, right? So basically, like this is the step 1 that I am doing. And it's very simple. Actually, I am just like putting a I am just putting a keyword in the search bar, and I can show you.
So
Right?
sending a message with the search value to the content script.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, and we can reproduce that here in a very simple way. Let me just copy this file, and I will put here maybe like a laptop, right? Okay. So if I put this here and I click enter, it has to put laptop right in the search bar. So that is one step. That is like the first step in this process is putting like whatever the keyword in the search bar. No, this is automatic.
Okay.
This is really fast.
Okay.
And then I say, after you put the keyword, just wait 2 seconds, right? Just wait 2 seconds. So you put the keyword, wait 2 seconds, and then you do the next step and you wait 5 seconds,
So the next
right?
step is sending another message.
Yeah, next step is sending another message.
Another message with the same search value or a different search value?
No, it's just the other message is just it has the label step 2,
Okay.
right? So
It has whatever is the search. Okay.
yeah, so here, for example, I put step 2, right? Step 2, and here, let me just remove this. So step 2 is also very simple. Step 2 is just click the button search. That is a step 2, right?
Yeah.
You can come here and I can click here and I click enter and it, right? You can see. First step 1 is put the keyword. Step 2 is just click the search button. So those are the 2 steps, right? You can see that here I put just 0 here because I am not submitting any parameter
Mhm.
right here. You can put 0 or you can put like this or something here, whatever you want to put, right? I
Mhm.
mean, doesn't matter because that's like really, I only need one parameter, right?
I have a
I-
quick question to the delay function. Is it just to have a bit of space so you do not get recognized that you're scraping, or is it just really to wait for the function to finish properly?
No, it's not waiting for the function to finish properly. It's just giving 2 seconds.
So it's
Um,
not to be so suspicious for the platform, you mean?
yeah, sometimes it's for that, right? But here it is not like that. Here is more like just giving like a random time to wait. Of course, I did some experiments and I figured out that 2 seconds is enough, right? Sometimes you need to be more smart because the time depends on the function, right? As you said before. So you need to create like a while there. So you need
Is
to
there a prompt? Yeah, there is an await. Okay, yeah. So it is definitely sure or granted, or it's definitely sure that the function finishes and then the delay starts.
exactly. Yeah, okay,
Okay,
that's
okay,
true.
okay.
Because
That's because the
this
await is there.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's very important that you mentioned that. If you don't put this await, you will create an error because here this await means that this executes, you know, when this finish
Sequentially.
sequentially.
Yeah.
So you execute this, you wait, and then you wait 2 seconds, and then you execute this, and then you wait 5 seconds.
Mm.
So it is sequential. That's very important.
By the way, have you considered to use the Puppeteer framework here because it has many built-in functions to parse prepare data, so you don't have to use. I saw just you're using custom functions, don't you?
Puppeteer offers many things that are very important, many functions, like built-in functions. But so far, like my method, web scraping, is just create custom functions using ChatGPT.
So it's not very complicated to have interact with JavaScript and everything. It's just you have a multi-page application, you're getting information out of the
Yeah,
same approach.
and like just having the logic. Like step 1 is you have to map all your steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and then you execute all the steps like here in the console. And after you have all the steps in a document, you can start creating the Chrome extension, right? But
Sure.
before you have all the steps, and all the steps are working fine. So first, you need to create all the steps in a document, in, for example, a notepad. And then after you have that, you can start creating the Chrome extension, like the logo, manifest.
By the way, talking about Chrome extension, what is your target audience, target customer? So what did you bring to the decision to use a Chrome extension instead of, for example, a backend process where you can offer a client portal and you have a subscription model or whatever else? So what made you choose to use the Chrome extension, and how are you able to provide this product to customers since it's a Chrome extension? How can you make sure that you get your cut?
That's a really good question, actually. And also, sometimes I make that question to myself, right? Because there are some advantages that Chrome extension offers. For example, first advantage is that it's very easy to do all the application. Like
You
really,
distribute it.
yeah. Also, distributing is very easy because like you can put your Chrome extension in Gumroad, for example.
I think if you were doing
Okay.
Puppeteer, you would need, does the user need to install Node.js and Puppeteer?
Yeah,
And
server.
if you go for Puppeteer or something, you could build like a SaaS application. You could host it. You can,
True.
of course, then you have to be the gateway to run all the queries and everything. That's another challenge, maybe if you have a lot of requests. But then, yeah, that's of course the modern way to make money. I like the approach maybe about Chrome extension that it's like decentralized. So the customer has the product, he maybe paid once for it or something, and then he owns
Yeah.
it. Still, how can you make sure that only he can install it?
The trick is to obfuscate the code, right? So, for example, when I distribute a product like this, for example, like Angie Scraper, I obfuscate the code. So if I go to Angie add-on, for example, the user cannot see the code, the recipe. So if he tries to see the code, right, like this, just
Oh,
they
because
can.
it's like a zip file, and you
It's an
can
spaghetti, right? It's an
Yeah,
spaghetti.
spaghetti, exactly.
the Chrome extension has to be installed as a developer, so developer mode.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep, that's
And
correct.
because
Chrome
packages
store.
or Chrome extensions are packed as zip files, you can use this method, right? To
Yeah, come in and see all his code, but because he's obfuscated it, nobody can understand it or copy it or manipulate
Modify it,
anything to it,
modify it
modify
or
nothing.
anything.
It's just,
right.
yeah, it's very discouraging when you see the code in that. Pretty much you just give up before you start.
Having a product which consists of JSON files, and that one I cannot pack in zip files, so I have to use a different approach because the JSON has to be fully readable while importing.
Another trick is that two comments, and I mentioned this to Robert, I think last week, is that when you realize that you have a really good product, that you are selling this, you need to change the selling part. You have to move from Gumroad, from selling the code entirely, to like a SaaS application.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what I'm doing right now with my scraper in Apollo. That's why I included this button here that is just to purchase the application. So this is more like a SaaS. And of course, takes the let's say the good thing about selling the code in a zip file is that it's very easy, right? It's very easy, it's very fast. It's very fast. And it's really good to when you want to like create an MVP, right? Just you finish Google Chrome extension and you want to just test it as soon as possible, right? I do not recommend going to the let's say SaaS application at first.
Distribution is really one of the big advantages you get from the Chrome store is because I've the same thing actually. One of the first things I made was something that I launched on the Chrome store, and I would just get users every day just by it existing on the Chrome store.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is different, I know, because you're distributing it off the Chrome store. It is easier also for people to trust your application.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
since Robert, you published this or are about to publish finally your boilerplate, I guess that could change also how we build SaaS applications more quickly. But of course, yeah, starting with Chrome is definitely way easier.
So if I'm understanding correctly, essentially, Renee's, your distribution. Oh, hey,
Hmm.
what's your dog's name?
It's a Polly.
Hey, Polly. So you're distributing a zip file essentially through Gumroad, and then they're downloading it and then using the developer mode through Google Chrome to use it. Am I understanding correctly?
Perfect. Perfect.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yep.
I love that approach. That I never. How did you come to that? Like, how did you think through that distribution?
Yeah, just try and error.
Ray tries
tested.
everything.
Yeah, 3 months, something like that, took me to discover that. And I want to highlight this. I think this is the good method, and then you have to transition to a
Mm.
SaaS in the Chrome store. So this method is good to test your product and to get some money, but it's not perfect. Also, it is okay if you want to, for example, sell a Chrome application in a marketplace, like for example, Fiverr or Upwork. You can do that. But yeah, you have to transition from this to a SaaS application at some point, right? In the future.
And with SaaS, in your case, you mean a publicly available Chrome extension where there is a payment process included,
That's
right?
correct. That's correct.
So within the plugin, you can click something to purchase or whatever, and then the plugin works.
Exactly. Like here, for
Uh,
example, like here, right?
yeah, yeah.
I'm doing that right now. Actually, that's one of my tasks today and tomorrow. So yeah, really, when you listen to other people that is selling web applications, they recommend going directly to the SaaS product. But from my knowledge, I will say that is wrong because it will consume a lot of time, right? And the first thing that you need to tackle as soon as possible is you need to validate your idea with some real users.
And what
You need
if you
to
already had a template for, because I guess it's always the same. It's a plugin and there is on top of it like a payment stuff which needs to be applied. And maybe you already built it once and then you can apply that part to all future plugins as well, can't you?
yeah,
So
maybe that
you have
that
a
be like
boilerplate
another
for Chrome
yeah
extensions with all the settings you need for getting paid.
That's true.
So
yeah
maybe
Well,
you
but
can
with
think about
scraping,
building it as
if
a template for yourself.
yeah I get it. That's a good idea.
And maybe you could
Really,
even market that template.
and then what are they already paying for? Just maybe just work backwards from there. Like Renee, we once talked about Amazon API, and
yep.
we talked about how do you deliver the same information, and then we talked about Google spreadsheets and like the convenience of that. Just in that, I think you delivered a product that was similar to that in that form.
Yeah, I really, when I started this, I had no idea anything. So this method was very fast for me at that point, and I feel that this is working just to validate MVPs, talk to customers. Like you can also put a post in Reddit saying, "Hey, who wants to test my new Chrome
Yeah.
application?" And you can distribute your application in zip file, and yeah, and you can get feedback, right? So I think
I would maybe just have to all of you guys maybe one question. We had now SaaS is of course the safest way to keep the boundaries. Then we have this very cool way with Chrome. But what if you have a product which does not fit into both of these, but you have to deliver a product like config files or whatever, and you do not have any control over this, so it's clear to the customer, so like clear text. Is licensing an option or does it get completely ignored? What about that? Have you got experience with that?
So you mean like creating a
maybe
code basically that would just verify with the backend, but whether or not you're authorized to
Th-
use the application, I assume.
No, for just for maybe Robert, your product, you sell it once and the people keep the source code. What keeps them from spreading it?
Oh, I've never, I just don't even really care. I don't really think about it because I think that it just takes a lot of work to sell it and then to even to understand it. And so it's just not an easy product for anybody to copy, or it's not even
Okay,
worth the
okay.
effort in
In your
producing.
case, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Like,
if it would be a little bit more simple or like more copyable product? If you don't need that extreme knowledge, it's just some config files. You have an application, you just put it in, and it works for the other one.
I still think I wouldn't even be worried for a while if anyone would steal it. And that's just my mindset. If there was an easy way I could protect myself, then great. But in the beginning, especially like until I have something that's really proven out, I really don't even care if anyone even takes it or anything because I know it's still far away from being like a refined product that anyone's going to be able to really do a ton with. I just don't even really worry about it for a while until it's obviously a problem. But that's just me. I've never been in a situation where anyone's like stolen something from me and then they went and made it big, where it was ever a really big problem for me. So it's never, I think that it would be unlikely statistically for that to happen, at least. But that's just my point of view.
Interesting.
another way you can use an API, right? You host an API in your own server, or you give your client a key, right? Like an API key, and
Of course, it depends,
that's
of course,
another
on the
way.
product again. For example, Robert's case, we had that it's quite difficult or complex to get in there or to have the intention to do that. But like if I said, if it's just config files you share and people could say, "Oh, I wrote that," then it's nothing you could host yourself and just giving an API or a portal or something. Yeah.
Depends on the product, and yep.
Mhm. Does Gumroad has some licensing going on? Do they somewhere say that it's not that it's prohibited to copy or something?
People even can get for free the product because there are some scams in Gumroad. 1 month ago, I presume it was a scam attempt because there was a guy that he purchased my product and then he said that he received his money back, but he got the product for free. Right? He got lifetime access, he got everything. And I was like, this guy never contacted me, everything's working fine.
He was never going to be your customer anyways. You would have spent how much effort and time to stop somebody from stealing something that's worth how much, right? Like how much is your time worth and how much was it worth it what he stole? If you really look at it pragmatically, yeah, it sucks morally, ethically. Yeah, he shouldn't have stolen it, but really from a logical point of view, which one is actually worth your effort? It like statistically, let him steal it. Okay, that money was never going to go to you anyways. The hours it would take you to protect it from every angle, they don't add up to what you're actually losing.
And you had the code obfuscated, I'm assuming. So it's not like he could tear it apart and understand it and then use it that
Yeah.
way. So
Yeah, so even the damage
Yeah.
is
That's why
One-off.
it's important. Why it's important to obfuscate the code. It's very important. I created a script for Amazon API. I got motivated from the one that you sent me one day, the one script that you sent me. Like I got motivated and I created this demo for a client. This is a demo. And here you can see how this works.
nice.
You can put like a date right here, like put 3/11, and you click run, and it will generate like a financial report of all
Exactly.
your Amazon orders. And here I also obfuscate the code for this because I sent this to a client and just so he can test it and see he likes the product, right?
This is a great way to deliver the product, like we talked about. A person who receives this, it's a good way. You don't have to pay to host it anywhere, first of all.
Yep.
And it can handle quite a lot of data. And yeah, you just get all this data that you need. And you obfuscate it, obviously, here in the back.
Yeah, exactly. You can even sell this via Gumroad, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right? You can sell this in Gumroad. You can say, hey, you purchased, I don't know, a license and you get your report.
You just do like a call with them first, figure out if they need any customization at all. And then you could sell this for, yeah, a lot of money if you throw in like a couple of calls with it.
Yeah.
Because now they're just
So
and they're going to be able to use it for a real business purpose because this pulls in a lot of data automatically.
yeah, of course, there are some constraints here. Like I don't give everything. The code is obfuscated. I don't give all the fields. I don't give all the rows. There's a limit here of 100 rows. Yeah, you can see the potential, right? It's just like a cake, right? When you want a chocolate cake and like the way you want to try it, you want to have like a, right? Like
Then you
what's
take away,
the-
then you take it away.
and then he's like, oh, it's really nice. I want the entire cake, right? I can also give you the recipe, but that's more expensive, right? Yeah, because I sell recipes also, but that's is like more expensive. That's why when I sold the other my not the SaaS, the web application that I showed you last week, the for the e-commerce, that was more expensive because I gave him the Java code, so he has the code that I created.
how common is it for somebody to want to code buy the solution? What do you experience more?
Depends on the place. Fiverr, it is more like they want the solution, but if your client is more from outside, like really, if your client is not like a cheap client, he wants to have everything, right? So depends on the client. I see that places where you can find like cheap clients, like Fiverr, Gumroad, those places where you have like cheap clients, they don't want to spend a lot of money. They want just the solution, like really they want the solution. But other type of clients, maybe from YouTube, from your network, they prefer to have a more personalized experience, right? Yeah,
I'm sure like the higher up, there was a conversation in State Change last week that was around pricing and just as you get up to more enterprise with like these bigger clients, like they're going to definitely want everything. They're probably going to want the full scope of it all, I would imagine.
yeah, they want companionship, right? I mean, they want you to be there. They want all the support from you. Yeah, I will say it is good to have like this type of things. When you have the solution, you need to solution to assess by the end of the day, right? Like you can start using the obfuscation technique. You start with Gumroad, you can start with Fiverr, But then at some point, you need to move to a SaaS application when you have a monthly payment for users. But you can reach that point once you know that your product is okay, that there are no any bugs there, like people is happy with your product, you can move, right?
Yeah.
Because when your product is mature enough, and you know that.
All right, guys, I have to end it at 2 minutes now. That
Yep.
was a very great session.
I think
You
that
know,
was
that was very insightful.
Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to be here as always. Mario, Daniel, I'm really happy.
Thank you. It was really insightful.
I
A lot of
appreciate
stuff.
you.
I think that there was a lot of stuff, like just even in the Google Sheets, that is very interesting. And like how much you can actually end up charging clients for that service. Thank you, Renee. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I love
Um,
that hearing your validation process. That was super helpful. So no, I appreciate that.
And we can continue the talk next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Mario, it's great to meet you.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you too. See you guys.
Thank you,
Bye
guys.
bye. Take care.
Have a good one.